Yeah. So speaking of superhuman levels, let's talk about strength.
Yes.
As far as strength goes with Afro, all I can say is he's strong enough where he punched one guy, and he went through a stone wall.
Yes. Yes, he did.
And I also mentioned about being able to impale someone with his sheath to the point that they got impaled. Like that takes a lot of strength to do that.
Yes, I agree. Well, also here's another interesting strength feat for Afro Samurai. After watching the Resurrection movie for the second time, I noticed there was one scene in particular where Jack basically was going
I mean,
after.
Afro.
Yeah, sorry, damn it, Afro was going after his father to rescue him, and he was talking to the main villain in a stone statue. But Afro was so pissed off that he literally cut open the stone statue with a single sword strike.
Woo!
So yes,
I remember
yes,
that. I remember that. That was very impressive.
yes, it was.
Yeah.
Just thought I should bring that up. Now as for Jack's strength feats, um, that's the interesting thing because whereas Afro, you can determine where his strength feat begins and ends. With Samurai Jack, it's a bit complicated because he rarely has any interesting strength feats. But the
Mhm.
strength feats he does have is in the episode where he learned how to in quote jump good, which basically is jumping so high into the air that you go past the clouds and it looks like you're flying, but in fact,
Whoa.
you're just jumping good. Jack was,
Mhm.
but in order to do this, because Jack wanted to know how to do this, he had to endure carrying stones on his legs, on his arms, and then carrying a giant stone boulder on his back. He had to climb on vines, he had to run with them, he had to jump on them, and then after all of that torture, after well, I wouldn't say torture, but all of that, he whenever the stones came off, he was able to jump good too. And also there are many times where Jack is able to cut through solid steel with his sword like butter. So
Woo!
exactly, yes, because again, and Jack has faced thousands of robots, tons of times, and all of them have a very strong armor to them, especially with the beetle droids. But what's interesting is that in one episode, um, Jack had to fight seven. I could be misremembering that, but for this purpose, I'll say seven. He had to fight seven assassins that were composed of his world's version of adamantium, meaning they were almost unbreakable,
Mhm.
and they were also being powered by the essence of Aku. So Jack needed a robot arm by the scientists that built them with superhuman strength in order to cut through them. But when the arm was out of juice, Jack was able to call upon the power of his ancestors to bless him with the power of the full capabilities of the sword, and with one strike, Jack cut the last remaining robot.
Wow.
Yes, so Jack's strength feats are just as good as Afro's, if not slightly above him. But again, that's not taking anything away from Afro because, again, guys, cutting through a stone statue or impaling somebody with your own sheath or even knocking somebody with your fist through a wall, that has got to be impressive alone.
Exactly. I agree. And then I think the last thing we can talk about is their speed, and we're gonna talk about
Yes,
just both their travel speed and combat speed, or I like to call reaction time. I,
yes,
I I call it reaction, like how they react in battle.
yes, this is a
With
good one.
Afro, I would say in terms of reaction and also travel, it would be up to hypersonic because he can deflect laser beams. This
Yes,
is actually lasers from Afro Droid. He's also deflect regular bullets to the point where he's also sliced bullets to the point where it turns into debris and kills whoever's behind him.
yes, he
Uh,
did.
and I also mentioned about deflecting the grenade as well. And one other speed feat that he's able to do was outrun explosions when I believe the brothers tried to destroy Afro after Afro defeated the Afro droid for the first time. He defeated him for the
Yes.
first time, and then
Yes.
he tried to explode him with the bridge, but he was able to outrun it and make it to all the way to the end where he needed to go to justice, where he needed to be.
Yes, that he
Which I
did.
find that to be very impressive in terms of speed feats as well as reaction time as well.
Yes.
What do you say about Jack?
Okay, with Jack, this is where we step in from obscurity to straight up ridiculousness. Jack is fast enough. I would say Jack's best combat speed is where he had to fight five assassins. He took down four of them before a single drop of water hit the ground. Now, I calculated this and timed it, and it came out to, at least with my timing calculations, it came out to 4 seconds. So that means Jack was going so fast, taking down each bounty hunter at a time, that he was moving faster than they can see him coming. So
Wow.
that's impressive. And also his best reaction speed. Now, a lot of people have pointed this out and said this scales to speed of light. It's very dubious if it does. I do not have the calculations for this. I should have asked my friend Jaru to calculate it, but unfortunately I didn't. But for the purposes of this, let's just say it's just beyond ridiculous. Jack, in one episode, was able to avoid direct beams from the sun while carrying what looked like a heavy glove, and the beams were coming through this sort of glass to where it literally could have killed him. So
Wow.
it wasn't like, so to be specific, guys, because I know a lot of people are like, well, how does that make it fast? Well, again, I'm not talking about the type of sunlight to where if the sun shines on you, you can avoid that. No, I'm talking about the type of sunlight to where if it's weaponized, it can be focused and concentrated into a single beam to where it
Yep.
can kill you. And
Mm.
Jack was able to deflect it or avoid it while holding something what looked heavy.
Mm.
So yes, now his best travel speed, again, I don't really know how to properly find that. I will say this: his travel speed has to be maybe above hypersonic, because again, Jack is fast enough to where he can avoid and react to things, possibly beyond hypersonic. But I wouldn't say he's Flash level fast to where he can go from one distance to another. But that's
Hmm.
just my opinion. So
Right.
yes, Jack's speed feats are just as good as Afro's, but this is where it's a little hard to determine because, as Duo pointed out, Afro was able to avoid laser fire from an Afro droid and an explosion. So it's very hard to tell who has the best speed. I
Mhm.
really think that's going to be something interesting for Death Battle to calculate and try and give us an answer on.
Right. So yeah, and I think the last thing is I think we talked about experience, right? We already talked about experience. So
I believe so. Yes, we did. But just to go over it one more time, in
mhm.
my opinion, Jack has the most experience between the two because, again, guys, you got to remember, as soon as Aku came back, destroyed his town, enslaved them, Jack was immediately raised for the rest of his life until he was an adult to to take down Aku. And
Mm.
he literally had 15 years of experience to hone his skills, but then also too, he was transported to the future. So that, and in season 5, he spent 50 years in the future before he finally went home. So that means, by all accounts, Jack has maybe 70, close to 80 years of experience on his
Mhm.
side.
Wow.
And what's also
And he still looks young, right?
yeah, yes, because yes, and I know a lot of people are going to be wondering, well, if he has that much experience, how is he still young? Well, after being trapped in the future for so long, for 50 years, Jack cannot age anymore. He has become immortal where he can't age. Now, that doesn't mean he can't die. It just means he can't age anymore.
Mm.
So he'll always outlive everybody, which is
Right.
crazy.
Yeah. So all right. So Let's talk about the verdict in this. The
Yes.
verdict
Oh
that
man, this is gonna be. Oh god, this is gonna be so close. But I can tell everybody in the comments knows who we're gonna go for.
right. So, in my opinion, um, they're on par with a lot of things, but I think the one thing that is the trump card is just going to chop down to experience.
Yes,
That's pretty much it. And Afro Sam, I'm not Afro. Oh my God,
it's all right.
Samurai Jack definitely has the experience factor in this,
Yes.
and I think this is almost as close as Shredder versus Silver Samurai.
Mm,
it it might just chalk up on who will make the final blow first.
yes, I agree. Now there is one more thing to bring up before both of us get to our verdict. There now when I said Jack has the experience, there is one thing Afro has in terms of experience that Jack doesn't. Afro has more experience killing people than Jack does because yes,
Very true.
Jack did finally kill people in the second and third episode of season 5, but what's interesting to note, after he lost his sword, he still refused to kill people. He still lived by that code. And when he got his sword back, he was pretty much back to it, to his old self. So again, Afro does have a lot more kills under his belt, and he definitely knows how to kill people in very creative and interesting ways than Jack does.
Right, but here's the thing though, Jack was trained to kill as well.
Yes, Jack
it's
has.
he's just like Batman is trained to kill, but he chooses not to kill.
Exactly, yes. But whereas Batman does it because he knows it'll make him like everyone else and he won't come back for it from it, sorry. Jack does it because it's the code of the samurai. He chooses to live by it. It's literally the Bushido code. He will
Mhm.
not take a life. He will do whatever he can to solve the situation. He'll try to diffuse the situation by negotiating, because again, Jack does not seek out conflict like Afro does. But when the chips are down, Jack will fight. He will do what it takes, but he will not kill
Right,
because, like you said, just like he's pretty much like Batman. You're right, where he has the means to kill, but he doesn't.
right, exactly.
So yes, but I'm gonna go ahead and let you say who you think's gonna win.
Right away, I say that uh, Samurai Jack got this. He got this, and like I said, it chalks up to experience. Like he knows many forms of martial arts and weapons combat, whereas Afro, he knows only one particular um, martial arts and weapon. But he's also good at hand to hand combat. Don't get me wrong. He's also able to figure out ways to defeat his opponent that is stronger than him, a better fighter than him. He always finds a way. Perfect example against Afrojoy. Afrojoy knew everything about Afro Samurai because of the data that that girl took from Afro, and it went into the Afro Droid. So pretty much Afro Droid pretty much can read his mind if he had to. But
Yes,
Afro was able to figure out how to clear his mind and be able to fight the Afro Droid
without thinking.
without thinking. So he could do that, but Samurai Jack can do that too. He can fight without thinking as well. So,
Yes.
but again, I think it just chalks up to experience, and also I feel that with Samurai Jack, I think he will get the first fatal blow. Will be the first and last fatal blow. And again with the sword, Afro can't use Samurai Jack's sword at all because he's not pure of heart, and
No.
he can hurt him. So if
Yes.
say Samurai Jack destroys Afro Samurai sword, which is actually definitely possible,
Yes.
no
And
one can
almost.
destroy Samurai Jack's sword. So
Yes,
now
exactly.
Afro is left without a sword, but he's still able to fight without a sword. He can still fight without a sword, but it'll be a disadvantage at the same
Yes,
time.
and there is a scenario where, okay, and I can even see this being the ending where, okay, Afro does somehow disarm Jack of his sword, and he needs a weapon to kill Jack, so he instinctually goes for Jack's sword, but then when he's about to use it, he then sees and realizes that he can't hurt Jack with it because, again, the sword does not kill or hurt pure innocent people. Now, yes, it can if the it can only do that if the person who is worthy does it. But even if somehow Afro was able to figure this out, he's virtually helpless because he's not worthy to wield the sword.
Right.
So yes, I completely agree with you. As for my predictions, I unfortunately, as much as I love Afro Samurai, I've seen the show so many times. I am a huge fan of it. It's, in my opinion, Samuel Jackson's best voiceover performance.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but Jack is too strong, possibly too fast, too tough, and he has, as you said, way more experience. And when the chips are down, Afro is able to find a way to beat somebody. But when the chips are down for Jack, he goes above and beyond. And a great example that really, unfortunately, hits the nail in the coffin here is that taken one episode where Jack had to fight three blind archers that were possessed by Aku, and Jack knew he couldn't beat them by traditional means, so he went to meditate and he remembered how to use his senses. So he strapped a blindfold to his head, and he was able to outrun their arrows just by listening to the sounds of their bows pulling back the arrows. And then he was able to literally get past them without them even hearing his footsteps, and he was able to dodge three point blank arrows blindfolded with just his hearing alone.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, I'm sorry, guys. Afro is going to put up a good fight. Afro is not going to go down within the first 10 seconds. No, this will be a blood war. And
Yes.
but when all is said and done, Jack has everything in his corner, and there's just nothing Afro can do to really kill Jack. Because see, that's the thing. Jack hasn't just fought in robots and people trying to kill him. He's fought in gods. He's fought in aliens. He's fought in everything you can possibly think of. And 8 to 9 times out of 10, he comes out victorious every time. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just how his world is. Whereas with Afro, all Afro's world consists of is just people with modern day technology that have the means to kill him. But
Right.
even he's able to get through it.
Mm-hmm.
So, in my opinion, guys, I'm 80% sure of it. Samurai Jack is going to win, hands down. But I'm expecting a close fight in both analysis and animation. I'm expecting an overall great episode because don't get me wrong, guys, the verdict may not be to your liking, but you better believe this episode is going to be one of a kind.
Yes, I
So,
definitely agree.
yes,
Definitely
so
agree.
that's all
So
right.
pretty much we're both for Samurai Jack.
Yes.
I know there are gonna be some people who's gonna say no, they believe it's gonna be Afro Samurai, which is fine.
Yeah,
It's
no.
good to debate about this, but one thing we
Yes.
do have to agree on: this is gonna be an awesome fight to watch.
Yes, no,
It really
definitely,
is.
guys. It is. Like, if you think, in my opinion, I'm making a bold statement right here. Samurai Jack versus Afro Samurai is going to be the best original animated fight of season 5, just like Smokey the Bear versus McGruff the Crime Dog was for season 4. And unlike that fight, you're going to get more fast paced action, you're going to get great voice acting, and you're going to see gore galores. So that's my prediction when it comes to how good this episode's going to be. And, who knows? If there is a chance that Afro can win, which it's very small and it's a very slim chance, just remember, guys, just always remember Jack keeps going. Jack always pushes through, and he will not go down. He will make sure that the fight will be over with him winning because let's just end off on this. When you compare their determinations, Afro was determined to avenge his father, but Jack is determined to not only get back to his own time, but he's determined to make the world a better place so people can be happy and free from Aku's tyranny. And you tell me who has the better motivation.
Exactly.
So yes, that's everything. That's everything we both have on this fight, guys, and we're both excited. We both can't wait, and we wish Screw Attack, Lewis, the voice actors, the research team. We wish everyone luck on this episode.
Yes. Yeah. So it's gonna be 2 weeks, I believe, 2 weeks from this video being made that we're
Yes.
gonna see this episode. I'm looking forward to it. Rich is looking forward to it. We're all looking forward to it. So
Yes, and if you can't get enough Samurai Jack versus Afro Samurai, guys, then look forward to this Saturday. The Nervebender crew will also be giving their thoughts. So you already will know mine and duos by the time this video is posted. But if you want to know your only mates, Freelancer Ambers, Spectral Star, Jaru Jaru, then tune in to this Saturday, and they'll tell you.
all right. So anyway, guys, we like to know your thoughts on what we had to say about this fight. Do you agree that Samurai Jack is going to win this? If not, feel free to leave your thoughts and comments down below. Any information that we might have missed out, and we're going to discuss and debate about it. Also, if you're new to my channel, please go subscribe to my channel. Also, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And if you're new to Richard Core Kenobi's channel, please go subscribe to his channel and also follow him on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And oh, you have an Instagram? No, you don't.
No, unfortunately, I do not. I know.
I'm sort of autopilot when I talk about the social
No,
media.
It's all right. It's all right. But yes, no. Those last two things I do have. So yes, definitely follow me on Twitter at Richard Kenobi, and if you want to follow me on Facebook, just follow me on Facebook.
Yes. Okay, guys. So this is Dual Dreamer, and I'm going to tell you to always dream big.
This is Richard Core Kenobi saying, may the force be with you all.
All right. See you guys.
Later, guys.